Okay, so we are back. We are back getting stuff ready to go. So, last episode, you saw us making bulkhead templates, all the good stuff. And so in this one, we're getting super close to fiberglassing. So what we're gonna do today is we are gonna take our good old friend, the grinder, and we are gonna go at the finish on the inside, just to take off the oils and the greases, and try and get it down, just kind of kiss the fiberglass on the base layer. But yeah, it's hot outside. It's gonna be hot, it's gonna be sweaty, it's gonna be good work. So let's do it. So just to keep you guys up to date and in the loop, so in the last episode we made some bulkheads. We made the back assembly, which is a ton of complex geometry because you're dealing with the existing hull, you're dealing with the hull not being straight or exactly plumb from back to front. And so there was just a lot of finagling. It was a lot of kind of complicated geometry. It was stuff you guys didn't want to see. Mostly it was just me thinking until I was like, well, let's just do it. So we finally got it cut. We got her cleaned up, assembled, glued. So now this is a unit. And we also have the hatch for the rear storage cut and ready to go. And all of this is determined by the size of a battery that will slip in here for the trolling motor, the length, because it needs to be big enough for a 6-foot person like myself to lay down flat for sleeping. It also has to deal with comfort, angles, and all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. So that got cut in, got some miters in here. So yeah, she's getting pretty close for fiberglass. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys that before we get to the fun stuff of grinding it back down so we can fiberglass all this in. This will be one big unit. So yeah, should be fun. And just so you guys can see the kind of stuff we're dealing with, so I mean there's some ripples in this that match up with ripples on the hull. But yeah, I mean it was just kind of some complex geometry. I mean eventually we just had to pick angles, right? So we had to cut this one at that and then match this on the face of it. But also just make sure that it's gonna line up and glue up and everything will be tight. But yeah, there's some, it was complicated because we were trying to fit into the existing hull and we were using cardboard templates. And so it was a lot of making sure that it was perfect before we cut it. And so like this arc in here, that kind of fillets down, has to be tall enough to fit that battery compartment. But that means this has to be tall enough to make sure the seat is tall enough that the battery can fit in and get scooched back. So it's just it was a lot of planning. It was a lot of just making sure every single move was correct before we cut anything. Because I mean, this stuff is expensive and obviously we don't want to waste anything because we are sustainable here. So we're keeping track of all this stuff and just making sure we don't make any mistakes. And then this bulkhead over here, I mean, same thing. Just making sure this hatch was absolutely perfect. Making sure we'll have room for the doors to be attached and making sure there's room for hinges and stuff. So yeah, lots of important decisions that were made, but those decisions have been made and glued together. And so now it's just time to start putting it back together. So yeah. Okay, so we got that done, guys. We got everything sanded back, getting ready for fiberglass here. So it just knocked down whatever this is, the gel coat on top of the glass, and knocked it down so the fiberglass has something to adhere to and roughed up that surface. So got that done. It's getting there. Obviously the grinding wheel didn't have the best surface area to be grinding this out, but it's the texture of the boat has a lot of difficulty to it as well, because there's a lot of high points because it's all matte fiberglass instead of cloth. But I think it'll be good for what we're doing. At least that's what the experts say, so we'll go from there. Obviously you you can see we have a hole in the boat now. That's good. So we'll have to work on that and fiberglass that in, put some reinforcement. But I'm not too worried about it because we're putting in some floor supports here. As you can kind of see, we're starting to lay that up. So, and that floor support is gonna land right on that weak spot. And so that will all be reinforced when we put in the subfloor on top. And then up here at the front bulkhead, you can see sanding again, you know, so we are ready for glass. But you can see we have some things getting laid up here, but that's gonna have to wait for the next episode. So stay tuned. See you guys. Bye-bye.